Hey there, cats and kitties. I am the Blues Man, Johnny Blues, and some news has come out since my two videos yesterday talking about Man of Steel, the new Superman film for later in the year, as well as Doctor Who. Now, essentially, we have a couple different stories I want to talk about with this video. It's been a long time, actually, since I've done a multi-topic video, but I hope you guys will bear with me so I can cover a little bit on each of these different things. Now, the first thing I'll go with is the Man of Steel story, which, following on the coattails of this rumor that we're going to have a Jenny Olsen rather than a Jimmy, we have basically from, I think it's the London Toy Fair, confirmation of two new Kryptonian villains. Now, I can't remember what the names of these characters are, but I think this is very interesting how it basically seems to pertain to a battle in Smallville, and we know that we're going to also see something unfolding in Metropolis. But the idea of more Kryptonian villains is very intriguing to me. It's kind of like, I'm wondering if we're going to see a Zod-led invasion force or something that Superman's going to have to quell, thus winning the hope of the people. I don't know. It just brings up a whole bunch of different ideas. I mean, one of my speculations on a friend of mine's video, Mike Adam Smasher, essentially my idea was maybe this Jenny Olsen was a leaked sort of rumor to throw a wrench in the works, not let us, find out that maybe she's a Kryptonian sleeper agent or something like that. But, I mean, I'm grasping at straws with that one. We really have little to go on with the Man of Steel movie as far as details go, so it's pretty much open to speculation, and all I know is June can't get here quick enough to be able to find out all of this stuff, what it all means. Now, following on the Doctor Who news, now, of course, it's just a bad time to be a Whovian, because essentially we found out confirmation that the 50th anniversary special, if the news reports from the London Toy Fair are to be taken seriously, is going to amount to nothing more than a 60-minute special. And chances are none of the classic Doctor actors have been contacted. They probably won't be doing anything more than the Big Finish audio adventure that they've all signed on for. And, this is severely disappointing for what is supposed to be the biggest year for Whovians, 50 years of this classic, iconic series, and we are getting shortchanged if this news is true. Now, there have been so many different rumors, and I could see, Stephen Moffat being the chess game player that he is with information. I could see this being a blatant lie being put out there to quell anyone's speculation, to completely blindside us with magnificence on the 50th anniversary. But I'm among my friends, Dr. Freedom, Matrix Lord 212, The Scribe. I just subscribe now. We've all been talking about this for 2 years. We've all seen classic genre shows going down the drain because of lack in viewership, because of monetary posturing by studios, and we don't want that to be the case with our beloved Doctor Who. I mean, we opened a Facebook page, Say No to Cutting Back Doctor Who in 2012 and 2013. This goes back quite a while, and I've been posting things every other week, whenever I make a video update, or sometimes I'll just post text updates and imagery talking about my thoughts on new Doctor Who news and that kind of thing. And my, comrades, they are doing the same thing. We've all been rallying, saying the way this is going, the way these cutbacks are unfolding, and the news coming out of the BBC that, there's monetary strife and there's new leadership over there and everything like that, it seems to be endangering our favorite show. The Mad Little Man in the Blue Box seems to have a arch rival, and it isn't the Master, it isn't the Daleks, it isn't the Cybermen. It seems, if these news reports are to be taken seriously, as I keep saying, that his arch rival is actually his home base, the BBC. And it's frightening us. We don't want to see Doctor Who go the way of the dodo. Now, I don't really know what else to say other than to write. If you're a Whovian, if you're a Doctor Who fan, and you love both the modern and classic series, write. Take the time to write BBC and complain. Tell them in an articulate way that you are disgruntled by the fact that they're taking away sections of the show you deserve, that you want to see. I mean, there's an article on drwhotv.co.uk that discusses in detail how much less we're getting. We are basically being robbed of an entire series of Doctor Who because of these cutbacks. Now, I can understand the argument that they're saying, Matt Smith and the actors and stuff, they're being worked to the bone for 9 months straight. They They need a break. But I think the break that we're getting is more to do with Stephen Moffat folding under the weight, or perhaps, as I say, posturing from the heads over at BBC who don't want to put the money that they're bringing in because of their most popular worldwide show, Doctor Who. They're putting it elsewhere. They don't want to fund it back into the series. Now, Stephen Moffat is on record as saying multiple times that we are going to have just a magnificent 50th anniversary year. They're going to have the most shows they've ever produced, and yada, yada, yada. And what we're hearing now is that this is not the case. So it's a big WTF. What are we supposed to do? Who are we supposed to believe? Is it just Moffat pulling the wool over our eyes as Whovians, and he really does have something up his sleeve? Or is it that, our show is really being killed by its own creation? And I don't know. I mean, I leave it for you guys to decide. I'd love to hear from you guys in the comments below what you think of all this news, that we're only getting a 60-minute special for the 50th anniversary, that we're getting a docudrama, and BBC America is doing some things. And yeah, you might have some stamps to collect or some new action figures, but it does seem like the classic side of Who is being really, really just disrespected, and so are the fans on whole, if any of this is to be taken seriously. So please post that in the comments below. Now, the third topic of the day has to do with Star Trek Into Darkness, to be specific. And this all seems to be revolving around the Countdown to Star Trek Into Darkness comic book, a page of which was recently released. I caught this on Facebook, showing a character who's introducing himself to somebody off panel. He's introducing himself as Captain Robert April. Now, for those of you who are Trekkies, I don't have to explain who this man is, but essentially it says further in a word bubble that he was formerly of the Starship Enterprise. Captain Robert April, in Gene Roddenberry's original sort of pilot script, it was supposed to be about Captain Robert April, not James T. Kirk, not Captain Christopher Pike, as was later renamed for the first filmed pilot, but it was supposed to be Captain Robert April, and he wasn't even supposed to be of the Starship Enterprise. It was supposed to be the USS Yorktown. Now, the interesting thing is, in the sort of retconned history, we're going to have Captain Robert April showing up again. And the question remains, is he going to be actually showing up in the film Into Darkness? Now, one thing I think is really interesting is, of course, because of the big question mark as to who Benedict Cumberbatch is going to be portraying. We've been told John Harrison. It's been rumored that he would be Gary Mitchell or Khan or Cybok, even by myself. But people are now jumping and saying basically this could be Robert April. Maybe he's come back. I don't really think this is all too likely personally, because I've been told basically that Peter Weller, formerly John Frederick Paxton in Star Trek Enterprise, the terrorist leader of Terra Prime, is potentially playing Captain Robert April as an older man. Now, the image itself is interesting because he kind of looks like Chris Hemsworth, who plays Thor, and we know that he actually one of his first roles was playing George Kirk, the father of the later James T, in the 2009 J.J. Abrams Trek. So I don't think we're going to see Hemsworth pulling double duty as Captain Robert April as well. But, I mean, if Peter Weller is playing Captain Robert April, that could be interesting. And here's my theory, basically, in a nutshell. I'm thinking, that first ship Enterprise was lost in space. Maybe they were sent out to the Great Barrier at the edge of our galaxy, and something went amiss. And Captain Robert April may have been killed in action. Maybe that's the funeral that seems to be hinted at in the trailer that we've seen. Maybe that ship returns home, and the first officer could be John Harrison, now newly given powers the way Gary Mitchell had been. Maybe he's returning with this sort of pent-up vengeance over the people who sent his command crew out to the Great Barrier. This is just a work-in-progress theory. Once again, I mean, I could be way off. Maybe this isn't John Harrison first officer on the first Starship Enterprise under Captain Robert April. Maybe it's something else completely different, but I mean, this seems the most viable to me as it stands with everything we know. And I'd love to hear from you guys in the comments below what you think of this. You've seen the image on the screen accompanying this video of this new Robert April in comic book form. Who do you think he really is? Do you think he's going to be Benedict Cumberbatch as the villain, or do you think Peter Weller is playing the character, or could it be that he won't even be in the movie? I'd love to hear from you guys, and otherwise, that's pretty much going to be it for me on these topics. I'd love to hear from you as usual. Hope you're all doing well, and I'll catch you later. Peace.